Hello. Hi. This is Costello. Hi, Costello. You want to say hi? You want to say hi? Hi, Costello. What do you think? What do you think? Hi, Janet. Hi. Hi. Hi, Costello. You want to say hi? I'll see if I can put my glasses on so I can see. Hello again. Good afternoon. Bless you. So I was thinking that since last week we didn't have Hope Ministries because of an emergency dog event, and then you may have seen me mention this morning that my praise was that the doggies are doing better. I give you guys an update on what's been going on around here in the doggy world. So this little guy is Costello, and he's a little worse for wear right now. He just had a big old drink of water, so he's all kind of, his hair's all kind of clingy. Oh, my hair's kind of wild. It just air dried today. But at least mine's not all wet from drinking, huh, baby? So let's just start with Costello, shall we? So this is little Costello, and if you may or may not recall, I did a live where I went to Texarkana and I picked up 2 Pomeranians, and one of them, they got named Abbott and Costello, and this little guy is Costello. And Costello has had a head tilt and something going on with his left eye, which is this eye. And he got neutered and a dental right away and an exam and all his shots. But he had a head tilt, so he was kind of going around a little hunchbackish, sort of, with his head down and tilted, and the eye. So we got the eye examined. She said it was probably an old injury with some scarring and doesn't have a lot of vision. But other than that, we didn't really know anything else going on. They thought they had detected a murmur when they did his surgery, but then later on, just before, they didn't detect the murmur anymore. So we brought him home. Well, last Saturday night, he collapsed and then went on his back and went stiff, very similar to a seizure. And I've dealt with a lot of different dog issues, but I only had really one instance with a dog that was having a seizure, so I'm not as familiar with A, the signs, and also B, what to do in the event of a seizure. I mean, I've read up on it, but I haven't dealt with it a lot, so it's second nature for me. So it was just really scary. And we ended up taking him to the emergency room, and I was very scared. I thought I was gonna lose him in the moment because he was just kind of stiff and not, actually it was kind of like he was holding his breath in a way. So I gave him a big breath of mouth to mouth, and he seemed to kind of get breathing again. And we got him to the veterinarian, and they didn't really have anything conclusive. They said it could have been a seizure. It could have been some other neurological problem. And then, completely surprising me, she said it could have been a heart event. Now, I was thinking maybe a stroke, but she said it could have also been like more of a heart attack or just a heart failure where he didn't get oxygen and passed out or something. And then I had his blood work with me, and his thyroid level was low. Anyway, so there was a number of things that we could check on, but he seemed like he had stabilized. He hadn't really recovered. He still couldn't hold himself up standing. And so I stayed there for a little while, and I'll do a plug for this company too. They're called Veg, V-E-G. And what's wonderful about Veg is they're set up so that when you go in, you get to stay with your pet. It's not like some places where you sit in the lobby and they whisk your dog or your cat back, and then you don't really know what's going on moment to moment. You're like, it's like literally like a great room with medical stuff and tables floating out in the middle, and you go to your assigned table like a restaurant, and then the veterinarian comes to you and the techs come to you. Now you may need to stand back so that they can work on the animal, but it's just wonderful to be in the room and seeing all these pets with their people, you know, holding them. So I was with him the whole time, and they recommended some different things that we could do as a follow-up. But as you know, it's a rescue, and everybody in rescue, we do everything we can to let the money stretch as far as possible and help as many dogs as possible. So whenever we're faced with an ER situation, it's always, well, first of all, you have to get permission, or be willing to pay the bill yourself. And that's actually where I had gotten to, because I didn't get back from anybody right away. And ultimately I said, okay, if this was one of my personals, I'd be heading to the ER. So I got all packed up for the ER, and then I got the okay. And so I stayed with him for a while, and it seemed to me like there would be a whole lot of tests that would have to be done in order to come to a conclusion, and he had stabilized. So what we had decided to do is he went home with me Saturday night, and then I stayed up with him. I've actually slept on the couch next to him every night for, I guess, 8 nights now, just to make sure he doesn't have another event that I would need to intervene on. But by Monday, we were able to get an echocardiogram scheduled. And when I had brought him into our regular vet Monday, they thought it was heart related. And both the ER and his regular veterinarian, Dr. Hamlin, heard the heart murmur. So we got him on heart medications right away. Hi, baby. And we scheduled his echocardiogram. I still don't have the results of the echocardiogram, but then on Monday night, at almost the exact same time, 9:45, he had a second event. But it wasn't as severe as the first. And so it seems like after about 2 days, it was 2 days each time, that he started to recover. He was able to now walk, not in a straight line, but at least hold himself up enough that when he tried to lift his leg to go potty, he wasn't falling down. And then since then, he's come back to his normal self. He's still the normal self that I know from 6 weeks ago. He still has his little head tilt. What are you looking for, baby? You're very curious. And but he's gone back to, like, wherever I go in the house, he's running around and following me. And so he's definitely stabilized, and we're waiting for the results on his echocardiogram. So that was my big praise for Costello, because when it first happened, I thought, oh no, I thought I was gonna maybe lose him. We don't know how old he is. I saw that question go by, but they think maybe like around 12. So it's hard to say, and it's also hard to judge by his eyes because he has a damage to one eye. So that's not really a great tell either. But he's back to his normal self. So that's really good. So yay, praise God for Costello. Mwah. Then the next episode we have, and I'll see if I can grab Tootsie Roll. She was actually the first. Let me grab her. Tootsie. So this is Tootsie Roll, which I just call Tootsie. And she had what looked like maybe some sort of a infection in her private area that seemed pretty severe, and I had taken her to the vet, and they'd put her on antibiotics, and they cleared up. Well then, and she's not spayed yet because she came into the rescue with heartworms, and we didn't want, we got the heartworms treated right away, so we didn't want to have her under anesthesia shortly after. So we're going to wait 6 months to do the spay and do her dental. So when the antibiotics stopped, then almost immediately the infection was really bad, and I had her in a very large crate so that she didn't have to have any dog pants on or anything, and I didn't see anything. So I let her out and I put a dog pant on her, and I'm so glad I did, because the dog pants caught what was coming out of her, and it was really serious. So we immediately contacted contacted the vet. Oh, this was 2.5 weeks ago. And she was definitely suspicious for pyometria, which is a very extreme infection in the uterus. And so I was up the night with her, watching her 2.5 weeks ago, because if she crashed, if she didn't have a temperature and she was able, running around acting normal, if any of that changed, then I was going to rush her to the vet in the middle of the night for emergency surgery in the night. But she ended up making it through till the morning. And so the veterinarian that did her pyometria surgery, they are South Lake. So they're an hour and a half from me. So we got up very early in the morning, and she had her surgery that day. And the doctor said it was very serious. The infection was all throughout her entire uterus and everything. And it even gone outside the womb. And there was deteriorated tissues even on her intestines and things. So it was very, very scary. But so she's been on a combination of pain medication and continuing a strong antibiotic. And we brought her home that night under the guise of, because they really wanted her to be watched 24 hours. And so we were, do we take her to the ER vet because they're open and she'll get monitored 24 hours. So we ended up, I took her home and just had, my purse ready to go, and stayed up with her in case she was crying with pain, or if I noticed anything, or if she was bleeding. Yeah, they can get that if they don't get spayed. I mean, not every animal that's not spayed gets pyometria, but yes, if you have a uterus, it can get infected. So we don't know how she got it, but she did. And so she made it through the morning then. So then I drove her back out, and the vet checked her and he cleared her. And so she's been in my own little, I don't know, I guess you could call it my own little dog medical crate that I have it right next to the sofa so I can sleep next to them. I have a little lamp that's on them so that if I wake up in the night, there's just a little light on them and I can see them without having to get up and turn the lights on. And so she's doing really well. And so that's also an amazing miracles. Yes, see what Mary J. McGuire just said? That's what was going on, that I'm just trying to not gross anybody out with the details of, but it's really bad. And she's doing really well. Her hair is growing back. I can show you. You can't even see. Let's see. You can't even see, but she was open from here to here. So that was nice and big, and she got her stitches out last Wednesday, and she's continuing to do well, and she's playful and running around. And this little baby, she's black and white and tiny, and you may remember her. She's the one where I drove 8 hours or 8.5 hours, 9 hours one way to the very south of Texas by Mexico and back. She was with a group of 6 dogs. And so we have been wanting to adopt her since the very beginning. But typically we do the adoption once she makes it through all her medical treatment and her heartworm treatment and stuff like that. And so because of the financial situation, though, Mark and I are helping with some of her medical care because we would have adopted her and then we would have been paying for everything anyway. So that's Tootsie Roll, and she's doing better. She's acting all sleepy in my arms, but 2 seconds ago she was running around and getting into stuff, so it's kind of crazy. I know. Should we go show Sugar? Yes. So we're just getting started. All right, so there's Tootsie. Sugar Bear. Where's Sugar? There's Sugar. All right, I have to go eat Sugar. She's gone over on this side. Now this is my Sugar Bear. You guys remember Sugar because we even had her on the farm. Little tiny Sugar. So Sugar has a problem, and I could even see it in her eye. I haven't wiped her eye. She's been very congested, and now So Tootsie surgery was 2.5 weeks ago, so it would be 3.5 weeks now, and you can hear her. She's like, you can hear the fluid. So she presented with that, and she's had allergies in the past. So we started with allergies, and that didn't do the trick. So I brought her with me the day of Tootsie surgery, and the veterinarian looked at her and said, yes, she has congestion in her head. Asked if we want to do an x-ray. At first we were like, I don't know, and then we decided to go ahead and do the x-ray. And Sugar Bear has some bronchitis, so she has congestion in her lungs. And then she also showed an enlarged heart, which is really breaks my heart because she's only supposed to be like 11 right now. And so they gave her an antibiotic and something go with it. I can't remember now. It was something else that went with it. So she got a week into her medication and I didn't see an improvement. And normally Sugar's a very good eater. She likes her meals. She doesn't miss a meal. I mean, you can't tell it. She's not fat by any means. She's just puffy. But she had stopped eating her food. And so that's really not a good sign for a dog that loves their meals. Plus, I noticed that she was getting that kind of that greenish infection-y stuff, like even crusting in her eyes a little bit. Although she's not really able to produce anything. When she coughs, she just mostly, you hear the gurgling. So we went back to the vet again and tried a different thing. So she's on an antibiotic that must have some kind of a steroid in it. And then also, gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Oh, I guess, so it's a medication with a steroid and then also an antibiotic. And she has improved some. She's improved enough that she's eating again, sometimes with a little cajoling, meaning she wants to eat it in her leisure. And I understand why, because she's so congested that she goes to eat and she can't breathe through her nose well. So she's still going through this, whatever this is. So she goes back to the vet. We repeated her blood work, but it hadn't come in, so we had to reschedule her appointment for tomorrow. So she goes back to the veterinarian tomorrow, and we're going to try to get to the bottom of her congestion and then also treat some of her blood work was off, so it's a follow-up. So continued prayers for Sugar. I mean, she hasn't taken a turn for the worse, and like I said, she is eating again, but she's not better yet. Something else is going on. So, Sugar? Yeah? I know. When Mommy's done, I'll wipe that eye. I just don't want to touch your eye with my dirty finger, okay? All right. So Sugar Bear. Then, come here, Abbott. All right. So this is Abbott. So, and if you go to my first story where I talked about I went to Texarkana and picked up 2 dogs that got named Abbott and Costello, this one's Abbott. And this sweet boy, he's such a lover. He has had a cough. Well, sometimes when a dog has, because he got a dental and a neuter, and so sometimes that trach can irritate their throat, and so they can have a cough. But this continued and continued, and sometimes it can go for a week or so, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Well, then we have all this other drama with Sugar, and I finally just said, this isn't right. He's still coughing, and to me it sounded like the kind of cough that some of my congestive heart failure dogs have. So he went to the vet last week, midweek, when I first tried to take Sugar, and when Costello got his echocardiogram. And he does have a heart murmur, and they said a very pounding heartbeat. So they started him on heart medications, and the cough is better. Oh, see, I'm gonna get that one because that one wasn't right up next to your eyeball. And so he started heart meds, and he's gonna follow up tomorrow with a veterinarian and see how he's doing. But I would say whatever they did does seem to be helping him, but that's not very good because we thought this guy was younger. You know, we never know when we just get them into rescue and we don't have any history on them, what their actual age is. But he acts younger, and he's a lover. He always wants to be next to you, and he'll even paw you, tap you with his paw, because he'll say, I want to be held. I want to be kissed. So that's what's going on with Abbott. And now I don't have the Chow Chow with me because he's too big, and I keep him, we keep the Chow Chow away from the little dogs. He's a good boy, but we just don't take any chances because Chows can have a pretty strong, prey drive. Yeah, prey drive. But yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday morning, I went back in the room and, mayhem. Shh, it's okay. It's okay. All right, guys. Welcome to my kennel, as I say. Hey, stop. That's enough. Asher. Poncho, there was some blood on the floor. So we looked to see what that was, and Poncho has split his fingernail diagonally back, and it was bleeding. And some, you know, if it's just a snip of the end, it doesn't matter. But if it gets into the toe of their paw, obviously it can get infected, and they lick it, and they have all kinds of bacteria in their mouth. They go in the yard, and we've had a lot of rain, so there's a lot of moisture on the grass and in the soil, which they walk the perimeter, and so it kills the grass, so it's muddy. So that was drama. So we reached out to the veterinarian, and they couldn't take him because normally the vets are closed on Saturday, but this one's open for just a couple hours in the morning on Saturday. They couldn't take him then, but we can take him Monday. So here's little Poncho. He's 70 some pounds. Let's see. Can you guys see him? Can you see his little boo-boo? So I have treated that before with another dog situation. So we had to kind of clip the nail. I shaved the little paw and little toe pad so we could see what was going on, and we washed it with soap and water and disinfected it, and the little treatment on there, and then we just have to keep him from licking it. So that's why it's all wrapped up, all in breathable, bandages and things like that, and then a soft sock. Stop, guys! Mommy's talking. Shh. Sorry. This is nice. Hey guys, stop it. Stop it. So on Monday, they're willing to do. They're squeezing Poncho in Monday as a drop off, but I could use some prayers because Poncho, he came from a shelter where he was completely shut down, and so he's so sweet to us, but he definitely has chow behaviors around strangers. So of course I'm worried about the vet. We have medications. They call it a chill protocol, and he gets the medication the night before, and then 2 hours before the appointment, it's 2 different medications. He gets a dose again, and then 30 minutes before the appointment, he gets a liquid that you put on his gums, and he can still move around and everything. It chills him out, so he's less reactive. And then to be on the safe side, oh boy, and now the neighbor has started up. Muzzle him. Well, they can do it as a drop-off appointment, which I'm really nervous about that because I won't be there, and if they put him in a crate, that's not a good idea. So I'm hoping that when I go Monday, they'll let me just sit in my car with him in the parking lot so that he's with me and not crated, and then I can put the muzzle on just before they take him inside. And then they'll probably give me an oral antibiotic. I'm pretty sure I would need to give him clindamycin, but I don't have any. All my clindamycin is expired, and I wouldn't know the right dose. I could probably figure it out, but I'll wait until they give me the proper dose, and maybe it isn't clindamycin. Maybe they'll have me give him something else. So that's been all the dog drama going around here. I'm trying to think, is there anything else? No, that's enough. But anyway, so that's the update with my babies. Yeah, do you have any other questions? I don't really have anything else to ramble on about. Just that they're really cute, and look at them. Oh my gosh, they're everywhere. So now I have, well, because I took in, Chico is a forever foster that we started fostering just before Christmas, and he has congestive heart failure. Then in February, they diagnosed Asher with congestive heart failure. And then now with Abbott and Costello, so I've got 4 dogs taking different medications. Typically it's Lasix and either, and these guys are on enalapril. But with Abbott, they also added pimabendin. And then, so it's just, so my kitchen looks like a vet counter with, you know, medications everywhere, and oral ones, and then eye drops for Costello, as well as his oral medication. And as you know, Bobo still takes his medication, and Concho takes his medication. And then Tootsie had orals, and then Sugar now has her latest medications, which is one of them she gets every other day, another one she gets twice a day. So, yeah, so all kinds of doggy drama. But, yeah, but it's worth it, right? I mean, you know, you can only do so much, and you do what you can, plus my job. Yeah. So, anyway, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. And, you need to get my boy. This one's just so, this one and the Tootsie one, it's just, every time I see them right now, I'm just so grateful. You got a cough for mommy? Just because with both of them, I felt like I was so close to losing them. But we made it, didn't we? So, there's Costello. So thank you for your prayers, even though we didn't give you a lot of details at the time, that we have this boy with us for whatever long we have. Actually, being a veterinarian was my, I wanted to either be a veterinarian or an architect. And I'm an interior designer with a whole lot of medical care as a volunteer. So that's our babies. That's our fur babies. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you for all your prayers for Steinmetz Family Farm this morning. I kept telling them I'm with them in spirit, even though I'm not there physically right now. And I had wanted to be part of the goat races, but something kept holding me back. I didn't know, and lo and behold, I'm glad I hadn't bought my plane tickets, because who could have known that I would be in the midst of some pretty serious animal care, and 3 of these dogs are still under close supervision 24/7, just to make, because of heart events and not breathing and stuff. So yeah, so even though I wish I was there, I'm glad I just stuck with my gut and didn't try to travel right now. So say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Have a great day, guys. Bye.